Hello everyone, my name is Joe Scorsone, channel is called Scorsone Enterprises, and today we're going to have a quick overview of the market, and we're going to look at some of the things that I look at to kind of gauge how things are going on. Before we get into that, this is for entertainment purposes only. This is not financial advice. This is my perception of things. I do have an algorithm with LuxAlgo. I encourage you guys, if you actively trade, to take a look at that. I think you guys would enjoy it. And I have a Twitter account. I have just got over 500 followers, so thank you guys so much for that. But we're going to hop right into some charts. These are those indicators with LuxAlgo. We're going to hop right into these charts, and we're going to talk about some stuff. We really only have to go as far back as here. And before we get into that, what are my biases? What do I hold, right? I just have a portfolio of stocks that I would never really sell unless I'm going to buy a house. I have a small position in treasuries that I would like to sell at a nicer profit. And I actively trade a bit, and I make these tools. So it is in my best interest for this market to go a lot higher. So it's in my best interest for America to go a lot higher. All right, just some inherent biases. What I do. So yeah, let's talk about this. To go back and understand everything, we got to look at this drop right here, because this drop is the reason why this drop is not the same as this drop. Okay, that's a little weird to think about, but it all makes sense, I promise. This area of time right here is the yen carry trade unwinding. What's a carry trade? I encourage you guys to take a look at it again on your own time, but just for the sake of brevity and for the sake of just this video being informative, the yen carry trade unwind refers to the reversal of a common investment strategy where investors borrowed yen with low interest rates to invest in assets with higher returns. This unwound due to the Bank of Japan's policy changes led to a strengthening yen and a sell-off in global markets. Let's take a look at that strengthening yen. We can see our sell-off right here. But if you go down to YCL, we can see whoosh, this big strengthening, right? If you go into USD JPY, that means that this goes down. So we can see that the yen is strengthening right here too. Bang. So why then is this drop smaller and yet more significant than this one? What do I mean by more significant? Well, who is in this market? We could tell that by the VIX. Right? This is kind of my big, oh my gosh, aha moment in this video, right? Is the VIX. Why in one 10% drop did we'll go from July? Why, we'll go from the beginning. We'll just start right here. Why in one 10% drop did the VIX go up 400%? And in the other 11% drop, the VIX went up didn't even double. Didn't even double, right? Why is that? Well, it's because of who was in that market, right? When the carry trade was going strong, pretty much most, if not all, American stocks were doing great in that. We'll call it a year leading up to it. It happened for longer. But the NVIDIAs, screw it, we could call it the ARMs. Why not? The NVIDIAs, the ARMs, the Microsofts. See, did even AMD play along? Even AMD played along before it all unwound, right? Meta, Google, everything going great until that carry trade unwinding. Apple even had its own fair share. So that is where the big money was. That is where the professional traders were. We saw that in price action, just what was making crazy highs, not just new highs, but crazy highs. And we saw that in when the music stopped, there was a lot of professional money in these markets. We know that because they had to buy protection. They had to buy puts. The VIX is priced based on the 30-day to expiration SPX put option. So the more people buy them, the more people buy protection, the higher this goes. The more people buy protection, the more expensive the protection, the higher this goes. And they're okay with overpaying for protection if they need the dang protection. So that is how you could use the VIX to gauge who's in this market. And now that we know that, right? These moments right here, the election, the first bits of tariff news, or the election uncertainty before the election, for first bits of tariff news, now the big tariff reaction, right? They're smaller. And so now that makes sense the VIX won't go crazy with that. And now it's not going crazy, yet we're having a move bigger than this one. So where are they? Where are these people that would need to buy protection? Well, they're in Europe. Do I have another one? Nope. They're in Europe. And also, we could just look at price action, right? We could just look at price action. We can confirm to Europe from the FTSE. Looks fine. Doesn't look like there's any crazy news going on. Even does just move less. but even this is their carry trade unwinding right there. A bigger move down than we have here. The FTSE, the DAX was doing great, and even now having some volatilities with global markets. Should have some more European indexes on tab here. Regardless, though, that's one aspect of where everything went. Not everything. Everybody. One other spot that they went to was metals, and we saw it in silver play along. Platinum, not really, but platinum never plays along. Saw it in copper. Had a nice run up in copper. Saw it in some other different kinds of commodities. Energy didn't play along. Energy wasn't the trade. Energy was the trade. In a different time, money had to flow into a different area, kind of had to relax a bit. Lumber was a trade for after that carry trade unwinding right there. Coffee was a trade. Cocoa, not so. Cocoa was a trade. Wheat, corn, excuse me, corn was a trade off the bottom. This is what I was looking for. This is around that carry trade unwinding. Sugar, a bit. Cattle was one, right? And even there are trades in the opposite way too when they're that huge. OJ was one of them. There was a lot of money depending on this going down, I bet, right? And so now you even have money actively trading these things. You just have it on the side, trading the energy products, right? Even nat gas was one, looks like. The soybeans had to bounce off the bottom from the carry trade, right? This is August. This was the bottom of the carry trade. Where'd the money go? And so now it also went into other areas. We saw that the yen strengthened considerably. It didn't go into crypto. It didn't go into American stocks. We're back down at that low. It's not even like a FTSE situation where you're still just not at that low. Meta below the July. Meta individual stocks are above it. Some of them are pretty much at it, right? And some of them, the comparison between SPY, of course, isn't at it, and the FTSE, like I was doing before, is just that the move top to bottom isn't as big. Of course, the move in any case really isn't as big, but you see what I'm trying to say. Where did the people go? Not a lot of big monies in America. If it is in America, they're maybe in bonds. I don't even know. But it's not going entirely into these American markets. And we can see that from the VIX. There's just not enough protection being bought for me to be convinced that that is who is in this market. It's a lot of you and me's. You know what I mean? It's a lot of people that are like, my shares are in a drawer. I threw away the key. Not a lot of active money trading it. And so now it becomes a projection. Now it becomes an opinion. How long is this going to last? Well, you need a few things to change. You need an actual story to change with this, these headlines with the tariffs and stuff like that. I want to be apolitical on this channel, but that's just simply the current event. You would just need a story to change with that. You would need this to get cheap enough that it's just too dang attractive, right? And you would need other trades to stop working. Why would you not be in gold right now? Why would you not even silver is a little rocky, but it always is, right? Why would you not be in metals right now? Why would you not have some exposure? Why would you not have exposure to some grains? Why would you not even have exposure, if you're professional money, just to more niche things, I suppose, that regular people just don't really trade. No one's. If you ask someone if they're involved in financial markets, oh yeah, I own Apple. No one's long live cattle. It's the professional money that moves these things, and we could see they're moving it. And so that's what we need to happen: a story to change, or a price to get just too attractive. That's how I've been viewing everything. Is that we are in an illiquid market right now. We could tell based on the speed of how fast this is, right? One day we're having -4. Even let's go. Let's compare it like this. I haven't done this, so I'm ready to be wrong. But so peak to bottom was 20 days. Peak to bottom was 43 days. Okay, but the initial bottom was 22 days, so about the same. About the same right there, but now we're having some more speed at the bottom, which makes sense. I have that illiquidity. Even in the spreads, I was seeing NQ spreads at like $1.25 or a point and a quarter, a point and a half, right? A sign of volatility. And so, yeah, that is everything that I have to say about what's going on in these markets. That's how I've been using the VIX to gauge that. I don't think that this is over yet. And I think that money is elsewhere, and it'll be elsewhere for some time, unless something drastically changes, which I don't think so. I think we're going to see lower. So that's what I have to say to you guys today. I appreciate if you guys take a look at this algorithm and subscribe or follow my Twitter. But yeah, I hope that you guys found this video informative. I hope that you guys have a new view on different tools to use to gauge what's going on in the markets. I look at the VIX all the time when I have a move, when there's a big move down. Who's in it? Because some people have to trade differently. The big people have to trade differently to be able to really move things around. And so now we could sit back and watch how this plays out. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you guys in the next one.